Hello everyone, and welcome to the Nethergreen Podcast. I am Alex Green, and I am the strongest podcaster of this podcast. And today we're going to be talking about a couple of things, different things, without Bradley, because now the podcast is just run by me, Alex Green. I'm changing it from the Nethergreen Podcast to the Alex Green Podcast. It's going to be quite fun. It's going to be good. I'm sure you guys are going to enjoy it. I have several
questions. Who are you?
Who are you?
I'm in a call with a good friend of mine, Hector, ready to start a podcast, and in comes this weasel saying shit. Get out of here. Get out of here right now. Get out of here. We've got a podcast to do, Mr. Green.
He's just curious. He's just a little bit curious.
He's a little curious boy, but he's going to need to leave. Because I want to talk to you, Hector. Fuck this. Fuck Alex.
Yeah, let's fuck him off. Alright, we fucked him off, and now we're going to start afresh. Welcome back, everyone. And we've got a lot of fun topics today, including some films, some TV shows, and general updates.
Yeah, we've got some music news too, and we got a lot of shit we can talk about. But the first thing I want to talk about, Hector, is we had to take another break because somebody had to go on holiday and relax their little heads.
Yeah, I did. I did have to go on holiday. I went on holiday to Wales, and it was very whaley.
Where'd you go in Wales?
Pembrokeshire, so like South Wales. It was quite warm. It was quite nice. It wasn't like as hilly as North Wales, or like as, the terrain wasn't quite as rugged. It was basically just like England, slightly hillier, and everyone talks funny. Basically,
I've only ever been to Cardiff, so there's not really any mountains in Cardiff. So it was like pretty normal. It was like the London High Street.
You're essentially just in England, but everyone talks funny.
It's true.
We went to a bunch of places. We went to a lot of castles, because there's a load of castles in Wales. We went to some go-karting stuff and a bunch of things. It was nice. I recommend people go and try and visit Wales if you live in the UK. It's a pretty nice place. It's quite nice.
Yeah, well, even if you don't live in the UK, once the COVID shit is all over, or if there's barriers or whatever, I don't know, but get out and give some tourism to Wales. They deserve it. Yeah. But it's good that you had a nice holiday, and we're back now.
Yes.
So
we're back now.
Yeah.
I couldn't bring my headset with me though, because I mean, first of all, I forgot it, and that was that's the main thing really. But also, Luke's family was just a bit too loud. Actually, we'll bleep out his name. Actually, no, it's just the first name. Who cares? They were a bit noisy, so I don't know if we could have
had all of his family on as guests.
I mean, that would have been fun. Yeah, definitely.
It's too late now.
It is. Never be able to do it again.
It is. So, is there anything in the general news that we can talk about? And is the Afghanistan situation still happening? We've been talking about that recently because that's been going on for a while.
I'm not too sure, to be honest. I haven't been up to date with the latest news and updates and world reports since on holiday. Because when you're on holiday, you like to chill out. You like to, mostly I was preoccupied doing stuff permanently, so I didn't have time to be on my phone. But I'm not sure. I don't really know what's going on with all that. I'm assuming it's still going on.
The latest update I heard about it was apparently some members of the Taliban were disappointed with some of the weaponry left by the US, which I thought was a ridiculous headline. If it was even real, I saw it on Instagram, but if that's a real headline, then that's ridiculous. It wasn't for you. You don't get to. Beggars can't be choosers, bud.
Yeah, you're the Taliban, man. Come on, what? But that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. And
I imagine the situation is still occurring.
It probably is still going on. There's probably still things happening, but obviously, I don't think it's going to be as reported as it was. Because after a couple of weeks, people kind of, as bad as it is, people get bored of seeing stuff about it all the time because that's just the nature of people.
Especially on the internet, man. The internet. I mean, every month is like an entire year on the internet. in terms of trends and popular culture.
Exactly, but it's still just as bad for all the people living there. It hasn't gotten any. They haven't gotten bored of it. They haven't thought, oh well, what's the next? They're still dealing with it.
Yeah.
But I think most people have probably forgotten about it over here in the UK unless they're involved with it.
It's kind of sad, and I certainly haven't forgotten it. But if there's no updates and shit, then it's hard to. It's still very much in my head, but if there's no updates and the situation isn't, escalating, which is good if it's not escalating, but if it's not getting constantly updated, I kind of can't blame it for escaping people's heads, Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I don't think there's been much else in the news. Most of the stuff that I've seen has been like beef or drama between oh no, actually there was one thing I saw on Instagram, like this dude that had quit his 100k yearly salary job in America, and he went to like a Jake Paul convention thing, and he went backstage.
Was it a convention or was it one of his boxing things? Because I know he does. Isn't he boxing someone now? Like his name's Tyrese or some shit. I don't keep
he's
up
always
with
doing that for some reason. Yeah, no, I don't keep up with that cringe. But I don't think it was that, because he went backstage and spoke to Jake Paul, and he looked like he was dressed like normally. And he wasn't,
it was at a Jake Paul thing, but it was Logan who he spoke to.
Oh, it was Logan, was it? Oh,
yeah, it was a Jake Paul event, but it was Logan he spoke to, yeah.
Right, I see, yeah, but I've seen the video, and man, it makes me cringe. Like, he's like, the dude's like, oh, I just, and then he was like, I don't have friends, and who was it, Logan Paul was like, you don't have friends? You're fucking lying.
You're a good-looking guy. Yeah, he was like, you're a good-looking guy, man, you gotta have friends, like...
Yeah, and yeah, oh man, he basically just said no to him, and like obviously reality sets in. This guy's quit his 100k job, and yeah.
See, I think when I saw that clip, I thought it was kind of funny, because it's like I can actually imagine what was going through this guy's head, because like their whole thing, the Paul brothers, is be a maverick and take risks and live life to the fullest. He was probably expecting like major respect from Logan. He probably thought Logan was going to be like, what? You quit your 100k job to work with me? Me? That's crazy, man. Yeah, I'd love to have you. You sound sick. But no, of course Logan was going to be like, this is crazy. I'm not going to employ you. I don't know you. Who are you? What's he thinking? What did he think? Employ for what? What was he going to do for Logan? What does he do?
Yeah,
what's your talent, guy? Like, what do you do? That's actually what he should have led with. Because I saw the clip too, and he doesn't actually explain what he could do for Logan. He's just like, pay me, Logan. To do what?
He was just around? Like, I'll even come and work with you for free. I think what he was hoping was that like he'd get like famous or something.
Yeah, he was hoping to. Yeah, he's basically fucking a social climber.
Yeah. But yeah, there's loads of people that want to do that, so why would he? Yeah, man, what a fool! What a fool! That's embarrassing.
That was really super embarrassing. Imagine having a video of a Paul brother where he looks like the most sane one in the fucking video. Because Logan actually did appear sane. He was like, "You've got friends, man. You've got aspirations. This isn't something that's right. Like man, what were you thinking? What are you thinking?"
Yeah. I haven't watched all of it, to be fair, because like I only saw like clips of it on Instagram while I was on holiday. But I definitely do want to. Now that I've remembered it, I do want to watch like some videos of. I saw it on
fucking.
Like, a full video
it was on a Reddit. I think it was on a cringe Reddit subreddit. Yeah, I think it actually was like fucking public cringe or something.
Yeah, because it is pretty cringe-worthy. But yeah, I want to watch like the full video, if there is a full video of it, or like more talking about it, because it is fucking ridiculous.
See, here's another, because like. The worst thing about this, and you see this on the internet so much, it's actually ridiculous to me how much this happens. How many videos you see of someone who is, like, the person recording is the one that's being dumb. Like, if you are actively the one being, like that guy, that footage never needed to exist. If he hadn't recorded, that wouldn't have existed.
Yeah, that's a good question. Why was he recording it? Was he hoping that Jake Paul was like, just do it because he was recording it? That was his theory.
And not only did he record it, but he got rejected, and then somehow, I mean, he was probably live streaming it, but if not, that means that he still chose to upload that to the internet. And if he was live streaming it, in my opinion, that's even worse. Like, that's even dumber. Like, how are there so many people who are actively in a situation where they're doing something? In this guy's case, it was just stupid, but in many cases, just damn white, just dumb and not correct. And they think I'm so in that I might as well video it just to show the world how cool I am and how right I am.
Oh yeah, maybe he was hoping to just get some fame from that.
He probably had. I mean, I don't know the guy's name, but to be fair, I feel like that's real fame, where people actually know your name, not your face.
Yeah, no, that is true.
Knowing both is actually real fame.
The whole story itself, I think, has gotten quite a lot of views and attention. So maybe, hey, at least it's partly worked for him. He hasn't lost everything, apart from his 100k job.
And what was that job? I have no idea. What did he do? What did he do? What does he do? What have you done for Logan?
He claims he quit his 100k job. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he never had one to start with.
I don't understand what he was offering Logan. What was Logan going to pay him for? What do you do? I don't remember if he said it, but like, is he an editor? Is he a fucking filmmaker? Was he going to make his vlogs? What does he do?
Maybe he just thought he was going to become a part of the crew.
Fucking 100k. Imagine quitting that and being like, first of all, being famous is not more important than being like sustained. Success, and like that's more important. Like you had
fame does not equal success. Who's like a really like good example in the UK? Katie Price.
Yeah.
She's a good example of someone who's famous who is not successul.
Yeah, she's been bankrupt like so many times. She's constantly in bankruptcy, but she's also constantly on holiday. Like, we've talked about this because I'm constantly seeing fucking articles from The Sun, and not just one of the Suns, all of the Suns. I had one from Switzerland the other day, The Sun Switzerland or whatever bullshit, and it's always articles about her, and every time I click I am not interested in this, please stop showing me this. I think I clicked on an article once and that was by mistake, and I was like, oh shit, and they've latched onto me ever since. I'm sick of hearing about her.
Something similar has happened to me, and that's with have you heard of, what is it, fucking Bad Barbie?
Oh, yeah, the fucking Cash Me Outside girl.
That person, yeah. The Cash Me Outside girl, yeah. Literally is now permanently plastered all over my fucking Snapchat suggested, like trending stories or whatever.
Man,
just because I must have clicked on one ages ago, and now I just get loads of it now.
And that's the thing, that's just, the internet has such a habit of shoving people in your face. Like recently, and we talked about this earlier a little bit because I wanted to bring it up at some point, and this is a great transition. The fucking D'Amelio show on Disney Plus. Charlie D'Amelio and the other one, I don't know her name. I think it's like Dixie or something. I'm not going to Google it. I don't want that in my Google search because I know that's going to latch onto it too, the fucking vultures.
Oh god,
but
yeah, I don't.
They've got a show on Disney Plus now. It's a Disney Plus original, and I think it's in coordination with Hulu. And it's fucking their lives. The lives of this 17 and like both these girls are like under 20. Just these fucking spoiled teenagers who are functionally. And I don't know. I don't want to sound mean. I don't know them, but from the outside perspective, they both seem very functionally useless. As do the Kardashians, in my opinion. Like, what are you contributing to anything, really?
Yeah.
But especially them, like Kardashians. I don't know. They do a lot of other shit. These girls are like new, and the only thing they really do is TikTok, which like that's just cringe. Like fucking, and the idea that they are worthy, that they are people who deserve. I'm not saying deplatform them or anything. I'm not talking about their TikTok, but the idea that they deserve having a documentary, like their lives and their sense of being is interesting enough and deserves people watching. No, it doesn't. Give a documentary to anyone else, really. Anyone. Any other person. Not them. I mean, and you can see it on the IMDb. Man, it's like 2.3 on IMDb. 2.3 stars out of 10. Man, and I will never watch it.
That's still good.
So maybe I shouldn't speak about it because I haven't seen it. But man, I can only imagine how awful it is. And fucking Netflix are doing the same. They're doing a series based on the Hype House. Have you heard of the Hype House?
I haven't, no.
So it's like the new Team 10 of fucking TikTok, with a group of TikTokers, and they're all going to be living in a house together, or they do, I suppose. Like the Team 10, it's Team 10 essentially.
Yeah, I do.
And
yeah,
they're getting a little documentary series on fucking Netflix. It's going to be like 10 half-hour episodes. Like these people
cringe.
are not important. These people do not need a documentary about their lives.
Yeah, but people watch.
Yeah. And that's society.
We live in a society. Here's another recent thing that's happened. Apparently, Kylie Jenner has lost her billionaire status, which I think is quite funny.
How'd that happen?
Very sad. I've no idea.
Well, I remember. So she finally did it because there was ages ago a controversy that technically it's not her controversy because she didn't actually do it, but her fans started like a GoFundMe with the goal of raising enough money to help her get over $1 billion at one point.
Oh yeah, that's cringe. Yeah, that's very cringe.
So I guess she must have done it, and now she's lost it. Then also, isn't she pregnant or some shit? Why do I hate the fact that I hear things about this family. Why can't there be something like that just blocks it all? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just media, unfortunately. Like when it's people like the Jenner family and the Kardashian family, like they're just so
and now
big
that the media
on social media, they're just everywhere, like Instagram, Facebook.
There's that other one. What's that other one? She's in a movie on Netflix now, and everyone, Addison Rae, I think her name is.
Oh no!
Like, here's the worst thing about it. Addison Rae and those two teenagers, the D'Amelios. Fuck the Kardashians, fuck the Jenners, I don't care. Those three people specifically, they're teenagers, man. Like, the internet is just... oh, man, it's the worst thing in the world for our generation. I can only imagine what the next generation growing up with this shit is going to be like.
Oh, God, it's scary.
Like, Charli D'Amelio is 17. First of all, yeah, in fact, you know what? I don't even feel bad about saying she's functionally useless. Most 17s are. Who's useful to society at 17? But that's the point. Why should she have a documentary series? She is... yeah, that's all I've got to say. She's 7. That should have been my opener. They're teenagers. No teenager is worth making a documentary over. Unless they're like... fucking... unless they're contributing something to society. Or unless they're the best of the best. Show me a documentary about a 11-year-old who has beaten the Grandmaster of Grandmasters of chess. I'd watch that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That kid's cool. A genius, apparently. These guys are TikTokers.
Yeah.
Nah, not interested. And Disney, figure it out. Alright, figure it out. You can't do that. You made Endgame, Disney. Come on. Have better quality of content, Disney. You've earned it. Fucking, I hate the mouse. Talking of that sort of... it's not the same sort of world. Like, it's not... actually, it kind of is because of Kanye, because he was in the Kardashian thing, but there's been two new albums out. We've had Kanye's Donda? Is that how it's... Is how it's spelled? Is that how it's said? Donda?
Yeah, I think so.
And we've had Drake's Certified Lover Boy. I haven't listened to either of them. Have you?
I have, yeah.
Complete?
Yeah, I've listened to all of them in completion, both of them.
Well, give us a quick review. What did you think of them?
I thought they were both good. I think there were more, like, weird ones in Donda, but that, I mean, you know, you could have guessed, probably, really. Like, yeah. You probably could have guessed that. There were like, some very weird ones in Donda, but that's because Kanye's a weird guy.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen what he looks like? Have you seen the photos of, like, the way he dresses? He's a weird guy. Well, I mean, it's the stuff he says that's more fucking weird than what he dresses. Some of the stuff he says has been just batshit insane. Yeah, no, that's also true. But, I thought they were both good. I think there were some really good ones in Donda. He had The Weeknd in one of his songs. He had a bunch of other guys in his songs who I can't remember. He had DaBaby in one of them, I know, and DaBaby was cancelled recently. DaBaby, that was in... Oh wait, was that in...
I'm pretty sure he's in Kanye's.
Are you sure you don't mean Drake's?
No, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's in Kanye. I looked at them both at different times, and I remember seeing that. Again, I haven't listened to it, but I did look at, like, you know, who was in it, and I looked at reception and stuff. I seem to remember it being in Kanye's. Maybe he was in both. I don't fucking know, but...
See, there's DaBaby and there's Lil Baby.
No, I'm thinking DaBaby, the one who was cancelled.
See, why? That's a good question. Why is that? Why is that a thing?
What, cancelling?
Why is there a huge rapper called Lil Baby, and another one who's also huge called DaBaby?
Well,
like, what's happening here? Come on,
guys.
Pull it together. Pull it together. Come on.
Look at how many Lils there are.
Oh god, it's so cringe. Why is it a thing? DaBaby.
You know what? I've got a headcanon that all the Littles, they're all brothers. You know, they're all part of the same family.
Yeah.
Little Wayne and Little Dicky, they're all the same.
Speaking of cringe, I agree with you what you said, and that was the cover, the album cover for Drake's is quite cringe.
Yeah. So I saw when I looked at Donda first. Again, I didn't listen to it, but that's what I kind of looked into first, and that has like a completely black cover art, which I was like, that's lame. I hate it when albums do that. You know.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, hopefully Drake has a nice one. Then I saw it, and I was like, man, that should have been pure nothing. That should have been completely black or white. That should have not been anything. Donda was better. Donda had a better cover art than that. That was fucking
it's like
awful.
the sort of like cringe clickbait thing that you'd see on like some cancerous TikTok thing or something.
I can imagine a boomer mother posting that on Instagram.
Yeah, you know, some of the songs in there I think are good. A lot of the songs in there are midding. Like most of the songs in there are kind of like midding. I think there were more like really original, really like creative, like new, fresh songs in Kanye West's one.
Did either of them have like any outright bad songs?
I'd say there are some outright bad songs in Donda. In Drake's one, I don't know, outright bad ones, I'm not really sure. See, the outright bad ones, I probably just like...
Is that more... Yeah, I suppose I know what you mean, actually. It's because, like, I suppose it's like a Marvel thing in a way. Similar, like, Drake is like the Marvel movies of rapping. You know, when he's bad, he's mostly just bland and uninspired.
Yeah. But most of the songs were just like... just really generic party songs that weren't really anything like really new, like generic beats, generic lyrics, generic everything, and you know, it sounded okay. And there were a couple of them that were really good, but obviously in Kanye West's one there were quite a lot that were like, you know, because he's the voice of a generation, you know, he's
like Jesus Christ, Muhammad Ali, Buddha.
Yeah. All of them combined. He likes to be fresh. He likes to be quirky.
He's the Tupac of this generation.
And I think a lot of the songs in there are very good. And you know, I think that for some reason he's like become obsessed with like religion and like Jesus and stuff like that. And apparently in one of the songs, it's believed that he talks about how Kim Kardashian cheated on him.
No,
some people think that he references it in the lyrics because they're having like a divorce.
I think I saw the same article, and I think the lyrics reference him cheating on her. I think the lyrics is like still playing even though I've got 2 kids or something. But you could be right. Again, I haven't listened to it, but either way, I mean, when they were announced to be getting married, I was like, I thought it was a publicity stunt. I was like, really? Kim Kardashian and Kanye West? Really? So it doesn't really, because they both seem incredibly egotistical, and clashing egos doesn't work out.
It was, I don't know. But I think it was Kim that was cheating on him.
Possible.
I think.
Do you know with who?
Is that what I read?
Speculated?
Oh, actually, yeah, there is some speculation that it might have been with Drake. I think in some of Drake's songs he talks about it, or not talks about it, he references it.
I bet Kanye wouldn't like that. Don't they have beef? I've heard they've got beef.
Yeah, I mean, there's beef between their two albums and stuff like that. They've done like competing billboards and stuff like that. Obviously, poor Kanye, but he's just been steamrolled by by Drake's album in terms of popularity.
Oh, has he?
Like I think on the global charts, like if I look at it now, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, 21, 22, 25, 27, 30, 31, 32.
How many more?
So a lot of the charts is taken up by Drake's album. How much of the chart is taken up by Kanye's album? Number 16.
That's the highest.
And yeah, that's the highest. Number 16.
Didn't even break top 10.
That's 6. No.
Ooh. And how many did Drake get in the top 10 again? Just the top 10?
In the top 10, he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, wow. Bad for Kanye. Why is that then? I thought people were hyped for it. I saw a lot of shit on Twitter of people being like, drop Donya, where's Donya? Donda, even.
People were hyped for it, but I mean, it's a bit more, what's the word? I mean, this is the global charts, to be fair.
It still says something.
So this is with like 10 million daily plays, is what number 1 has. So I mean, like, I don't know, Drake is just more like, what's the word?
Accessible.
It's more like generic. It's like the type of stuff you'd hear on the radio.
Yeah.
You wouldn't hear one of Kanye's songs on the radio because they're too weird and quirky.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
They're too like, yeah.
They're too experimental, yeah.
They're too experimental. They're too niche. That's the word I'm looking for. I think they're too niche. Drake is like, you know.
Would you call Drake,
generic.
I mean, maybe he's not doing it on purpose, or maybe he is, but would you call him like a panderer?
Panderer?
Yeah, no, he panders, yeah.
No, I think his style of music just blew up, I think.
Okay.
You know, he was like in with DJ Khaled but basically DJ Khaled like kind of like blew up that kind of music.
Okay. I mean, I don't listen to both of them. I didn't know they did similar stuff.
Yeah, no. Like they both blew up around the same sort of time, with like certain songs that blew up that they were both in together.
No, that's very
like really, really early on. Yeah, it's kind of like that style of music just for some reason just became really, really popular. And Kanye is like, you know, he likes to be different. He likes to be quirky.
He does. Because he's the voice of a generation.
He's the voice of a generation.
Kanye for president.
You know? Oh my god, I can't believe that happened.
Can I be... alright,
but yeah.
We'll talk for a sec. Donald was bad enough, alright? Seriously, if Kanye becomes president in 2024, I'm not going to America. I'm done. I'm never living there. That country will be officially from Looney Tunes. That'll be the Simpsons country.
I would go specifically because that happened. I'd be like, oh hell yeah!
No, I would genuinely at that point like
go.
the country. In fact, no, Donald becoming president was already making the country Simpsons. It would make the country Looney Tunes. Like it would be so batshit for that guy to become president and represent that country, even more so than Donald, in my opinion. That I think I'd be out. I'd stop watching America. You know. I'd change the channel in America.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I would go specifically because of that. Just because Kanye is president, it makes it more batshit crazy. That makes it exciting. Yeah, no, but I don't know. We've got very different opinions. We've got very different opinions on America. So
we do, and I don't dislike it. You know, it's a country.
It is. Yeah, it is a country.
It's definitely not third world, you know?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hector, today is not a special day, but tomorrow is. You know why?
I might know why. Could it possibly be something to do with Rick and Morty?
Richard and Mortimus. You are correct, sir. So we are recording this on a Sunday. Tomorrow, the Monday where this episode will be released, hopefully, is when the episode airs, which means next episode we'll be able to talk about it. But in preparation for that, Hector, Adult Swim have been doing something a bit weird. They've made two so far. Two live-action Rick and Morty promos.
Oh.
Now, when I first saw this...
Weird is definitely the right word to describe it, I think.
It is. Now, when I first saw this, I was... First of all, I didn't know. Until I saw their faces, I didn't know if it was real. Like, I thought maybe it was like, you know, because it starts on their shoes and it pans up, I thought like maybe it was like a YouTube sketch. Then I saw Christopher Lloyd as Rick. And wow, that was like, I mean, because that's crazy. You know, Rick was based on Doc Brown. You know, he's playing a character based on a character that he played. That's Inception shit. He was, yeah, technically it's the role he was born to play. And then we have, opposite him, we've got the kid from It. We've got, his name's Jaden Weasley, or Wesley?
Yeah.
Who is, I mean, he's not great. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's probably a good lad in general. I mean, just as Morty, that's not what I would have pictured. I would have pictured someone a bit younger, I would have said.
I think as well, it's a bit cringe, isn't it? The way he, but it's always like that with child actors. There's always they just can't play it right.
I mean, he's not a child. He's 18.
Cringe. He's 18.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then he's just a bad actor. Then okay, my bad.
He's playing a child, though.
Yeah, no, it just seemed like something wasn't quite right about it. You know, it was a little bit weird and off-putting, and like something wasn't quite right about it being live action. It just looked weird. You know, I remember the first post I saw of the live action Rick and Morty, and I went to the comments and it was literally just flooded with everyone spamming what is this? What have you done? Don't ruin Rick and Morty. That was just all it was flooded with.
The one thing, because
I think everyone,
I kind of get what you mean in terms of it, like kind of feeling weird, like when it starts and you see their shoes in the background, it does kind of, it feels odd. Like, it sounds weird, but even though it's live action, it still feels like it's almost trying to look too much like the cartoon, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look real. Like, his shoes and the fucking, the walls on the garage, it still looks fake when it shouldn't.
Yeah.
They should have, like, grounded it if they were going to... I mean, to be fair, though, these are only promos, unless this is a promo for something bigger, like a live action movie or live action special or something. Then, I don't know, it's excusable. I mean, it's 2 15-second promos. It probably didn't have that big of a budget, you know?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Unless it's leading to something. If it is leading to something, then yeah, they should have done more. But I thought it was cool. And Christopher Lloyd, that was really fun to see him there. And he does that burp. And the second promo is, I will admit, the first one I didn't hate, but the second promo is really cringe. The one with the pickle.
I think, to be honest, anything at this point that includes Pickle Rick is going to be a little bit cringe.
I don't know. The last episode had Rick reference him, being like, I could do another fucking Pickle Rick. Like, I didn't think it was cringe when he said it, but there's something about that specific. Like, he just picked up a pickle. Like, we see in the cartoon that the pickle has Rick's face and shit. This was just a pickle. Why did Morty think it was Rick? I shouldn't be poking plot holes in a 15-second promo, but I suppose I shouldn't do
by the way. It was unbearably cringe, unfortunately.
I wonder if there'll be any more. I mean, the season finale is dropping tomorrow, so it is possible that is the last one. But again, if it is leading to something else, then maybe we will get some more.
Maybe. I kind of hope not.
I don't know. Do you want to know an interesting fact though? The producers behind the advert said that they originally went to Daniel Radcliffe for Morty, but he turned it down.
Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly. Like, why? Both Daniel and this guy, Jesse, Jamesy, whatever his name is, Jensen, they're too old. Morty's supposed to be like 14. Like, it just seems... like, especially Daniel, though. Like, I love Daniel Radcliffe. Like, genuinely. I think he's a great guy. Great actor. I love watching him in interviews. That would have been a weird casting decision. Thank God he said no. He probably said no because he knew it'd be weird. He was like... He probably watches Rick and Morty. You know, he's in his 20s or 30s. He's probably like, no, that seems weird. I'm not Morty, are you kidding? You know?
Morty, yeah, he is actually a lot older than what Morty would be, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, that makes me, that side of it, the fact that, and I don't think it's going to lead to anything. I think it is just some fun promos for the season finale.
Yeah.
But it's a fun, it's a fun little what if, you know?
What if?
It's a fun little what if.
Speaking of what if...
Hector, what if I just did the best setup and segue to a segment we've ever had? What if I just did that?
Well, that's what this is, I suppose, because that was very clean.
It was. Thank you. So, we have episode 4 of Marvel's What If, and it is called, and again, this is a title I'm perfectly fine with. In fact, this is my favourite title yet. What if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? Or something like that. I actually haven't got it in front of me, but it's along those lines. It's that.
I think it's what if Doctor Strange lost his heart.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that title. It's because, and yeah, the main plot of it, the main difference even, because Hector, you have not seen Doctor Strange, the film.
I haven't, no.
This is becoming a problem, because some of these films are kind of, directly kind of based on the film, like the first one. If you hadn't seen Captain America: The First Avenger, you'd have been like, what is happening? Who are these people? You still were kind of like that, but even more so, You'd have been like, well, this is World War II? And I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was actually really, really good. And I like what they did, with the difference being very simple, actually. The difference being that the love interest of Doctor Strange was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And she ends up becoming, involved in his origin story. So, Christine, who is played by Rachel McAdams in both this and the film. This is the first one, maybe not, or maybe it is. I think it is. This is the first one that got, the entire cast back. So, yeah, we got Benedict Cumberbatch, we got Tilda Swinton, we got Rachel McAdams, we've got Benedict Wong. The main characters who appear that are from Doctor Strange are voiced by their characters. And we also get Leslie Bibb as Christine, the reporter from Iron Man 1, who hasn't appeared since 2008 in a 4-second cameo, which is wild. Why? It was really cool to see that and to see it in the credits, but I was just like, that's weird. Why? It's linking universes and stuff, but if they could have brought it back for anything, but that small cameo was fine. And yeah, it was a really cool episode. Why don't you go a bit more into the plot? We did just watch it, so you should remember.
We did just watch it. Well, essentially, the what if was. So we're going to spoil the whole thing, yeah. Yeah,
we're going to spoilers for this.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so we're going to spoil the whole thing. So if you hadn't watched it, probably go and watch it and then come back.
Actually, very quickly then, non-spoiler. Yeah, I think it's actually my favourite episode so far. I really enjoyed this one, actually. I think it really shows the potential of what this series can do. And I really like the fact that it feels very mature. It feels like one of the most mature stories Marvel have done so far. While still being wacky and fun, Yeah. So yeah, that's a quick non-spoiler review. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, skip to the next time code, because we're going to spoil it now.
Yeah. So the what if is what if? What's the girl's name?
Her name is Christine.
Christine, that's it. It's what if Christine, he takes Christine in the car and then, crashes the car with her and she dies in the car crash. And, obviously that he loves her very much, and then he tries to change that from happening. So he tries to go back in time to prevent the car crash and her dying from happening, but obviously he can't do that, because her dying in the car crash
just to quickly interject there, when it's not just that he can't, he gets caught in a mini Groundhog Day of just repeatedly trying and failing, which I thought was a great little sequence.
Yeah, that
ways that fucking Destiny, it's like Final Destination in a way, all the shit just catches up with her and you can't outrun destiny. If it's not a car, it's going to be a heart attack or fucking slipping on ice or whatever the fuck they did,
Yeah. She died of a heart attack while she was dancing or something in one of them, yeah. So
a fucking gunman just fucking robs a restaurant and shoots her in one of them.
Yeah, which I mean, in my head I was thinking, hey, come on, he could have stopped that, like, come on. But that's besides the point. The point is that he can't undo what's happened because her dying is what caused him to get into magic, which is what has enabled him to change the past. So obviously if he changes the past, then he wouldn't have been able to
get into magic,
to change the past.
It's like the grandfather paradox.
So it's paradox. Yeah, it's a paradox. He can't do it. But being stubborn, he tries to do something about it, and then he goes to this library.
The library of Cagliostro, who is in the MCU. He's the very first sorcerer. He was the first Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah. And first, before entering the library, he meets a wise black man. You
could just say wise man.
No, it's a wise black man. It's important because there's always a wise black man in every good movie.
To be fair, you haven't seen Doctor Strange, but there is a wise black man in that movie. You're correct. It's not him, but there is a different wise black man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Every good movie has one. So, and then he goes into the library and he learns about how so you can change an absolute point in time if I absorb loads of creatures, and so because enters the montage of him absorbing creatures, an epic montage of him absorbing creature after creature,
including a funny little gnome. He takes the cloak of like a bug queen thing. There's like a gargoyle creature, a three-headed goat thing, and also the tentacle creature from episode 1, which has got a lot of people speculating, by the way. So there's a big theory that all of this is leading up, like this entire series is leading up to like a multiversal Avengers at the end. Like something happens that's going to threaten the entire multiverse, and the Watch is going to come and pick out all these heroes from these episodes, And because this creature has appeared again, like that, people are thinking this can't be a coincidence, and people are thinking that that's going to be the multiversal threat, that giant squid thing.
Giant squid thing. You think that will be the multiversal threat?
Well, I personally don't know, but the internet are thinking it because it is. I mean, if it has appeared twice. There's no reason for it to, unless there is a reason. Why would they just do that coincidentally? It seems. What are they just reusing animation? That seems cheap. Why not do a new monster unless there's a reason to reuse it? And that is another universe, so maybe it is indeed a multiversal creature. And thus could be a threat.
I see. Yeah, that is an interesting theory. Well, perhaps, but he absorbs it. So
no. He remember that's not. He cuts off a few of its tentacles and absorbs them, but he can't kill the entire thing. It's too big.
Oh, I see. Well, then, maybe it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, then, he just cuts off some of its tentacles, absorbs their power, and
at some point during this, the Watch is like, he is going down a dark path, and I could help him, but it could be bad. And Doctor Strange is like, hello, who's that? Who's speaking right now? And obviously he doesn't see the Watcher at that point, but I mean, when that first happened, I was like, I thought that'd be the end of that. I was like, that's interesting. He's powerful enough to sense the Watcher's presence, and as we get on, it's more occurs there. But I thought that on its own was also very interesting when it first happened.
Because the Watch is supposed to be like some sort of being that can't interact or doesn't interact.
Unless he chooses to show himself to him, he's like a fucking he's omnipotent. Is that the one where you're a genie, where you're everywhere? Or is omnipresent or something?
Omnipotent is where you're like everything, I think.
Yeah. So he's essentially that, and it's almost he must be incredibly powerful at that point. Like even like the regular Doctor Strange without absorbing, that's why he did it, because he absorbed all that stuff. So he has to be really powerful to sense a Watcher. That's what I'm saying.
More powerful than Thanos.
Yeah, Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. He destroys an entire universe in this episode, you know? Thanos only destroyed half.
True, didn't he didn't even need the stones.
Exactly.
He just did it. He just did it himself.
And by doing that, he killed Thanos, so think about that.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he killed Thanos and everything.
Yeah, Thanos didn't even know it was happening. He died before you were probably like, what's that? Boom! You know? Think about that.
And then in the final moments while he's resurrecting her, the Watcher like appears in his fullness.
Oh yeah, sorry, we skipped. So it turns out that the Ancient One, in an attempt to avert it and get some form of defense, has split Doctor Strange into two. So we have this Doctor Strange, who we're going to call Dr. Armani for the rest of it to make it easier, because that's what he gets called by the wise man.
The wise black man.
The wise man, or who is in the Library of Cagliostro. And so there's Dr. Armani, the evil Doctor Strange, and then there's also regular Doctor Strange, who decided to let go of his quest to resurrect Christine and just live his life with Wong. You know, just, hi Wong, what's for dinner? That's his life now, you know? Good old Wong. I'd do that. I love Wong. I'd live with Wong.
Yeah.
I'd live with Wong.
He's the wise Asian man, you see. It's the next key piece to the puzzle.
Well, you haven't seen Shang-Chi, but there's... Shang-Chi.
The Legend of the Rings.
Yeah. We will talk about that, non-spoilery, because I've seen it and you haven't. But I want to quickly emphasise, because I'm probably going to do that a lot, I spent... Since it was announced, like 11 months probably, in my head thinking it was Shang-Chi. It turns out it's actually Shang-Chi. Or Shang-Chi. I don't know, I'm just going to call him Shang in it. But that was a mind blow. Didn't even occur to me that I was reading it completely wrong. And saying it in my head. I didn't even need to say it out loud at any point. So, never occurred to me. But anyway, so there's two Doctor Strangers, and as the world is ending, they duel, you know? They battle for supremacy. Because Dr. Armani is really, really powerful, because he is that powerful, I was thinking going into it, how does he have a chance of beating him? But it was because Wong gives him, like, a bunch of, like, spells and protection spells, even, that, like, you know, they're all on his face, and they're basically like hearts in a video game, you know?
Just gave him a bunch of extra lives. You gave him a health boost and regen potion.
Yeah, exactly. He did. He gave him a golden apple. But eventually the golden apple is beaten out of him, and he is absorbed by Dr. Armani, and that brings Christine back and promptly begins to destroy the universe. Cue Dr. Armani noticing the Watcher and shouting into the heavens, you know, stop this, you can stop this, you're a god. Only for the Watcher to actually fucking talk to the guy and be like, nah man, you fucked up. That's what he wanted to say. He wanted to just be like, you fucked up, Stephen.
Yeah.
But what he actually says is like, you know, I'm not a god and I can't interfere. And you know as well as I do that if I interfere, it will just cause more mayhem. And he leaves. And Dr. Armani's like, no! And the universe gets destroyed, except for a red, like, crystal prison. I don't know what it is. I guess it's like, I don't know if there's like a thing in some form of religion or, you know, dogma that talks about something like that. Or maybe it is just something they've made up, you know? Do you know if there's anything like that? That, you know, at the end of the universe, there'll be some form of red glowing crystal thing.
I can't say that.
They probably just made it up.
I think it's just the last remnants of the universe.
Yeah, and he's stuck inside it with Christine, who is just dying, and she evaporates into, you know, nothingness, and he's left there alone. It seems, possibly, unless he returns for the rest of eternity.
How sad.
Sad and pathetic, and not funny.
No, not funny at all.
Not funny.
Very pathetic. Yeah.
And yeah, I do think we'll see him again. Mostly because, well, of a trailer. He's in a trailer. Well, it seems like it's him anyway, but there's definitely going to be an episode this season where Spider-Man gets Doctor Strange powers. And in the trailers, he seems to be fighting an evil Doctor Strange who looks a lot like Dr. Armani. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Who knows? And there's also obviously rumours that he's going to... There's actually rumours that he's the Doctor Strange in No Way Home. Because you know how people were saying that from the trailer it seemed like Doctor Strange is like, you know, out of character and not himself.
Oh.
I don't think that's true at all. But there are rumours he could appear in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And that I could totally buy, actually. Like, yeah, did you see him in this episode? He becomes like a weird demon thing at the end. Like, this, you know.
Yeah, that was quite cool. And she was, like, terrified.
Yeah, and Multiverse of Madness is going to be... They've said that it's going to be like a horror movie. That's why they got Sam Raimi in. You know? Like, yeah, I could totally see that actually happening. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
There's going to be a Marvel horror movie.
Yeah, the next Doctor Strange movie... So Sam Raimi did Spider-Man, obviously, but he also did, like, The Evil Dead, and he did that one we watched, what was it called? Drag Me to Hell. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
But he's a big horror guy. And yeah, it's going to be, like, this... I mean, obviously it won't be, like, a 15 or anything, it'll still be a 12, but, you know, The Woman in Black is a 12. It's going to have dark themes still, you know? It's going to be like... he said at Comic-Con, Kevin Feige said he's aiming for it to be the scariest Marvel movie.
Now, not to bring us back to a topic we've already discussed on the podcast, but The Woman in Black should not be a 12. I think horror movies are not rated high enough.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do. We have had this discussion.
I do. Yeah, we have already had this.
And
I still feel that way.
But you got to remember, like, you know, it's more about there's a subjective view and an objective view, and like, you know, you're in this situation, you know, themes can affect people differently, you know, and some themes may not seem appropriate for you for a young age, but it appears if this is the case, then for a majority of people it does, and if the majority does, then that should kind of, you know, be it. Like, there's no reason to this started because of Hereditary, which is a 15, and you think it should be an 18.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not even saying, like, I fully disagree with you. Like, it's a very dark film. But I'm just saying, like, I do personally agree with the rating. I think a 15-year-old could handle it. And I also I've also stressed that, you know, you've got to remember that it is a horror movie. Like, if you do get a bit disturbed by it and you get genuinely, like, creeped out or scared, that's kind of the point. Like, if you're going into it expecting to laugh or to feel warm inside, you shouldn't be watching the horror movies end off, you know?
That's a good point.
And why should they have to censor their content or make it unavailable to a wider audience because you've made that choice to watch a horror movie as a comedy? You know?
We'll just have to agree to disagree.
We will, and I that is a situation where, I don't know, not specifically that film. I'm sure if we dug into it, maybe, but as a whole, that's a topic you're not going to change my mind on. Like, I think, especially with horror movies, because, like, yeah, if you're going into a horror movie and it scares you, that's the movie doing a good job. That's what it's there for. That's what horror should do. And I love movies like that. For me, as a film writer, I've kind of lost that. Like, I've kind of lost the ability to get scared at a film. Because as a script writer and as someone who's, 3 years at uni, 2 years at thing, I've looked into films and kind of studied them for like 5 years now. It's hard for me to get scared at a horror unless it's going to do something really unexpected. Or like just downright visually really fucking terrifying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Hereditary, when I first saw it, like... Yeah, when I first saw it, I you know, there's some bits that, like, you know, made me jump and shit. And it left me overall feeling a bit creeped out at the end. But I was able to take it in. Like, it didn't traumatise me or anything. I was like, by the end of it, I was just like, damn, that's a damn fine movie. But then again, you know, that's a point I've just raised against myself. You know, I know movies. Maybe my opinion is a bit biased. You could be correct, you know, maybe you are correct. But I don't know, I feel like that's the point of the movie. And it shouldn't be censored.
Maybe, but unfortunately, it is the way it is.
Yeah, it's a 15 either way. You know,
it is
that's
rated as 15. Yeah.
But yeah, And yeah, I'm looking forward to Doctor Strange 2, with or without Dr. Armani appearing. I think it's going to be good. And Scarlet Witch is in it, and Loki might be in it, and Spider-Man could be in it because Doctor Strange is in Spider-Man, so who knows how that could end, who knows what could happen. A lot of people have been theorising, and there's no proof, it's just a rumour. It'd be really cool if it happens, and we'll have to wait to see in No Way Home. But because Sam Raimi's directing it, imagine if Tobey Maguire was also in that. Like, imagine if the end of the movie of No Way Home is they end up staying in the MCU, and that could be his next movie, reunited with Sam Raimi.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, in the multiverse of madness. That would be fucking incredible.
Yeah, that would be awesome. You know, this is I'm assuming this is related to the new Spider-Man coming up, but I have started to see a load of like Tobey Maguire stuff coming up on my Instagram. I'm just loads of random posts of the old Spider-Mans and like old stuff.
Yeah, people are Spider-Man crazy right now, man. Properly, like especially on Reddit. Like, I'm constantly seeing posts about the trailer. And not just from people who like it, but also from people who don't like it. Because especially with the MCU Spider-Man, a lot of people don't like him because they don't think he's true to the character because of how much his story kind of revolves around, one, Iron Man himself, Tony Stark. But two, the fact that he has like a special suit with technology and stuff. He's got the Iron Spider, he's got like nanotech and shit. They just think that takes away from Spider-Man.
I kind of agree.
Here's the thing, I do agree to a certain extent, but I do think people have to take into consideration that this is, the MCU is, although it's, it's all based on the comics, they're adaptations. They've never done anything 100% comic accurate. Like Civil War in the comics was a massive fucking event involving every single Marvel hero. All of them. And the plot of it was that it was a registration act where superheroes would have to reveal their identities. And that's a big thing in the comics. In the comics, a lot of people have secret identities. But in the movies, people don't. So they changed it so that the superheroes would be working for the government, and it only involved like 12 heroes. Because that's all they can really get for the movie. So they're adaptations, and because of that, I don't mind that Spider-Man isn't 100% comic accurate, because this, he's this version of Spider-Man, and I think, although some of the context of the story has changed, like there's no Uncle Ben, and he does very much have a affinity for Tony, it's still Peter Parker. Like he still has the morals and the fun of Peter Parker.
Yeah. No, that's a very strong point. But for me, picking between watching the two, I would rather, I'd rather it be more classic. But that's just my opinion. That's just the way that I prefer it to be. That doesn't mean I dislike any of the new Spider-Man stuff. I just
you haven't actually seen that much of it.
The way it used to be. I haven't seen that much of it, to be fair, but what I have seen of it is just, I just prefer the is it the 90s animated?
Yeah, I mean the animated Spider-Man is, I don't know. I mean that's a completely different story though, because it's a different medium. Like it'd be very hard to get that that sort of characterization in a movie. Even a trilogy. Because remember, we had there was 65 episodes of that Spider-Man, 5 seasons. For him to grow on you.
Yeah.
He wasn't the best. He wasn't the perfect Spider-Man from the very first episode.
That's very true. Yeah.
And it's just and another really good example of that, I think, is the video game version. Like the game's 20 hours long and it's tons of replayability. I've played it very, loads. And one of the best things about it is that performance. And they did such a perfect casting there because, and it's the same. You can't compare it to the films. For a lot of people, including me, that is a very definitive Spider-Man. I think that was very perfect casting. His voice completely matches the character. But we also get 20 hours over and over with him. And that's a lot more than a trilogy of movies,
Yeah. No, that is true. That is true. And then on to the movies. Yeah, no, Tobey Maguire is still my favourite. All of the,
Well, that's the thing. They're all so different.
Action Spider-Mans. They are all very different, aren't they? All of them. Andrew Garfield.
But that's the thing. That's the only reason they're all so different is because Peter has many different versions in the comics because Marvel's constantly rebooting.
Yeah.
Like Tobey Maguire is more like the Peter Parker from the 60s, where he's just he's a nerd. He's got a couple of friends, but he doesn't seem like anything special. The Andrew Garfield one was more like, even though he's not younger, there's a version of Peter Parker that's kind of grown up, and he's like Andrew. He's cockier, and he almost seems a bit arrogant, but he's still very caring, and he still seems, even though he's been, he seems like a peak Spider-Man, you realise he still has a lot to learn. Well, Toby is more like Ultimate Spider-Man. That was in the early 2000s. And unfortunately, that's a Spider-Man I actually really don't like, both in the comics and he had a fucking TV show, which was awful. But I do like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And while it's based more on that's just in terms of, again, the context, because that was a very Marvel universe heavy idea. Like, in that he was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was working in a group with Iron Fist and Luke Cage and all that stuff. There were a lot of Marvel heroes in that show. And yeah, I think if you can't do the old style Spider-Man of Tobey Maguire in a universe with all these other heroes. I don't know if it would work, because when there are all these heroes and you have a character like Peter, especially this version who is actually like, the way he should be, kind of a high school student, he would look up to the adult heroes, especially someone like Tony Stark. I would rather he look up to Captain America, but he ended up developing like an emotional bond with Tony because Tony came and visited him and gave him money and a suit and shit.
Yeah.
That's been a criticism I've had since Civil War. I think he would have worked a lot better with Captain America. And that's kind of how it is in the comics. In the comics, Spider-Man doesn't really like Tony. He thinks he's too arrogant, and he kind of has a thing with Cap. Like, they have a lot of respect for each other. Cap at one point, I think, said to Spider-Man that he would be considered like the greatest of the great in the future. Like, he was like, you will be the best of us. So I would have loved to have seen them in the comics, in the movies, because in the movies they only ever had one scene together. One scene. 2 scenes technically, but the main scene was, that short bit in Civil War where it's like, where you from, kid? Queens, Brooklyn, and it's a cool little scene, but man, I would have loved to have seen more of that.
Yeah.
Possibly with Falcon, because they have a good dynamic on offset. Tom Holland and Anthony Mackie do a lot of press junkets together because Anthony just rips into him constantly. He's constantly roasting Tom. He's like, Tom's such a diva. He has an entourage that brings him juice boxes and he has to stand on boxes because he's so short. Like, he's just constantly ripping into him. And I think that could be cool because he's Captain America now, Falcon. Like, Anthony Mackie took it in... He seemed like he took it in Endgame, but he actually took it in his own show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And... yeah, he's Captain America now. So there's still a chance, There is still a chance. I would have loved to have seen it with Chris Evans, but there's still a chance. Talking of the new Marvel stuff, though, I recently saw Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi.
The Legend of the Rings.
And the Legend of the Ten Rings, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
I saw this. You didn't, because you were... You could have, though. Why didn't you and Luke's family all go see it in Wales or something? Go see it in Welsh.
That's a good point, actually. I think it was just because we were busy doing lots of other stuff. No one thought of cinema.
No, I'm not going to spoil it for you, because if you do come down this week, we could go see it or something. Because it is really good. And the main... oh, yeah, I'm not going to give any spoilers, so you can all listen to this. It's good. It's good. When I first saw it, I almost wasn't sure what to think of it, because it has a lot of really positive stuff. It's got maybe the best action outside of Daredevil in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I guess cinematography-wise, it is better than Daredevil. But I love Daredevil's fight scenes. I think they're the best on TV. But the fight scenes in this movie are really, really fucking visually incredible, to be honest. Like, yeah, they're perfect. The casting is really good. Like, the main actor, his name's, again, I don't want to mispronounce it. Let me quickly Google it and see how it's pronounced, because I think it's Simu Liu, maybe.
Okay.
But he was...
And he plays the...
Yeah, he plays Xiang.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shang.
I need to watch it again.
Shang-Chi.
He plays Shang-Chi, and yeah, fucking perfect casting. And at offset too, he seems like a really fucking likeable guy, and he brings that to the character. Like, the character seems so relatable in so many ways. Like, from the very start of the film, like, even though he's, you know, because yeah, this is basically an origin story. Like, he doesn't become a superhero in this film. He's essentially born one, but he starts off in a very different place, and it's a very relatable place for a lot of people, including myself, and I think you'd probably relate to it too. And yeah, and the journey he goes on is really interesting. He was definitely the highlight. Well, him and the main villain of the film, the Mandarin, which that was awesome to see the Mandarin actually be brought back after Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I agree.
He's played really fucking incredibly by a actor called Tony Leung, I think it would be. Who I haven't seen him in anything. This is his first Hollywood film, but he's he is a massive actor in Hong Kong. Like, he's like their fucking, he's like their Leo DiCaprio.
I see. Okay.
That's
quite cool.
That's
quite
big
interesting
in Hong Kong, and this was his first Hollywood film, and he was incredible in this film. Actually, him and Sim Yu were the highlights. Another weird highlight was, actually, I'm not going to say highlight, to be fair, but Awkwafina. Do you know Awkwafina?
No.
So she's an actress and a rapper.
Okay.
Now, she's in this, and she plays a character called Katie, who's Shang's friend. Like, she's a friend, and I don't know, from the trailers and from the opening scene, I was hesitant. I thought, you've seen the 4 movies, yeah? 4, 1 and 2. Do you remember Kat Dennings in that movie? She plays Darcy.
Vaguely.
Well, Darcy comes back in WandaVision. I just want to stress that I'm not talking about her in WandaVision. I actually really like her in WandaVision because she actually has a point. But in 4, 1 and 2, that's one of the worst Marvel characters ever. Because she's just a quippy, quirky, comic relief blur of uninteresting catchphrases and one-liners and shit. From the first 10 minutes of her appearance, I thought it was going to be like that. Fortunately, her character actually has an arc and actually grows in not in the same sort of way as Shang-Chi, but she grows in her own sort of way, and by the end of it, I was happy with, you know, I wouldn't say, I don't know if I would say the character is like amazing or anything, but she was definitely she was certainly played well by Awkwafina. I had no problems with the performance, and I think this character still has room to grow. And yeah, and again, I won't give any spoilers, but yeah, she certainly still has room to grow. And because, you know, that's one spoiler, I guess, and that's not really a spoiler, but I guess she survives. You know that now. Yeah.
Oh.
But they never killed the funny, quirky comic relief friend. Name me one movie where they've ever killed the funny, quirky comic relief friend. You can't do it.
I can't think of any. They can't do it. No movie can. No movie would dare to. But yeah, I definitely want to go watch it. It looks quite good. I've seen a lot of trailers around. All over the place.
So yeah, I think that's as much as I want to say, spoiler free. And my rating, again, when I first watched it, I can't really go into the stuff I didn't like, or I'm not going to say didn't like, actually, just the stuff that I was unsure about without going into spoilers. But through my rating, you'll see that it wasn't much. So when I first walked out, I gave it a 6. I slept on it. I thought about it. I haven't rewatched it yet, but I am going to. And even though I haven't rewatched it, I've slept on it enough. Sorry. I've slept on it enough, and I've pushed it up to a 7. Like, I think it is. Yeah, it is a good movie.
Okay, it's the same as the Suicide Squad.
No, I gave the Suicide Squad an 8.
You gave it more?
I did.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I did. And you know what? Even though I've said that out loud, and I still kind of agree with that. I thought the Suicide Squad was really decent. And this was still a very good film. But yeah, no, I'd say the Suicide Squad was more enjoyable in a way. But I can't go into the stuff that I wasn't sure.
I'll have to.
But this was still very much worth a watch. Yeah.
I'll have to assess this when I watch it myself. I'm looking forward to watching it. To be fair, it looks quite good.
It is. Yeah. It was good. And Simeu, fucking good to have you in the MCU. He seems like, he'll definitely be back, like, 100%. And he's going to be really fun to see with other characters. Like, he is. A lot
of Chinese and Japanese acting is very good, to be fair. And a lot of them aren't shown on Western television for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So that's quite cool, actually. That's like quite a rare event, really.
Also, I want to quickly, because I wasn't aware of this before going into it. A good, like, 40%, maybe 30, but 30 or 40% of this film is in Mandarin with subtitles.
Really?
Yeah, like the first, like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of the entire film are subtitled. And then, like, a good load of scenes throughout.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, it is. Like, I wasn't expecting it. I almost
brave.
Yeah, but it almost sounds ridiculous saying it, but it is true. Like, it is brave. Like, I'm really glad they kind of stuck their ground and did that, because, like, yeah, I hate, like, that was one of my main issues with Black Widow. They're all Russian and they're sitting alone around a dinner table, all speaking broken, terrible accent English to each other. It's because none of you speak Russian, isn't it? But all of these people are Mandarin. You know, they're all true to their character. You know.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot better. I think that sort of like concept really shines through in anime as well.
Oh man, like, dude, the fight. Honestly, the end. This isn't a spoiler. The end fight scene is like a real life anime.
Really,
it's visually really fucking sick.
Was it me and you that recently rewatched the last fight scene in One Punch Man?
It was indeed.
Was it me and you? Oh, yeah. I fucking love that shit. That's brilliant.
But this had some of the best action in any Marvel movie.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch that then.
Right. Good. We shall watch it next week. Now, before we finish up, there's one last topic I want to talk about. And I think this might actually be the one that I talk about the most. Because I saw another new film earlier this week. I saw it the same day as I saw Shang-Chi. So this was released August 13th. So it's still relatively new. You know, I didn't see it opening. Yeah. You know, I didn't see it in cinemas because I kind of knew it wasn't going to be that good. Right, so the first one, Don't Breathe. You've heard of it, have you?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it though, you said.
No, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Well, before this, and I suppose I might ask, do you mind if I get into spoilers?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Spoil away. I don't watch much.
An audience, big spoilers for both of these movies. The first one is decent, I think. So the first, Don't Breathe, is about these three, like, fucking greasers. You know, like, you know, they're thieves and, you know, they're criminals, essentially. And they're like, you know, they're robbers, they're house robbers. They break into the house of this blind man because they're like, this is going to be easy, you know, he's blind. And they know that he's got a lot of money because, I don't remember, they know he's got money. they break into the house. They do something to his dog. I think they either lock it up or they like drug it or some shit. And they're looting the money and stuff. And then the guy wakes up and he fucking takes one of the guy's guns because they bring in guns and he just fucking kills him. And the other two are in the room and they're like, they're just completely dead silent because he's blind, but they're like, oh shit. And the guy goes over, he checks the safe, he realises it's gone, and he's storming around the house angry while they're trying to sneak out and shit. It's a really tense movie. Like, I have no problem. I don't know. There is an argument that it could be more of a thriller, but I have no problem referring to this as a horror movie with this blind person being the main antagonist. So the game is essentially like a game of cat and mouse throughout the entire house, where he is like stalking them through his house. He's locked the doors. The dog wakes up at one point. Eventually, they end up in the basement, right? And in the basement, they find this girl that's fucking chained up. Yeah. Gagged, handcuffed in the basement.
This is reminiscent of another movie we saw.
It is, except this is a bit worse. And it gets revealed because, so, it doesn't get revealed yet, but they try to break the girl out. The blind man comes to the basement, things go wrong, and he accidentally kills that girl. The girl that was chained up. He ends up finding one of the thieves who is a girl, the only girl thief of the three. So, unlucky she got found. And he chains her up. And she wakes up and he starts explaining, and he explains that the girl that he's accidentally killed, the girl that he had chained up, was a drunk driver who killed his daughter. And the reason that he had imprisoned her is because she was going to give him another one.
I see.
And now that she's dead, he still needs a daughter. So he gets out a turkey baster that's already filled with cum. Might as well just say it. It's filled with cum. She's chained up, and the way she's chained up is like, a birthing position. Her legs are like up and spread and shit. He's getting ready to go over and, undo the trousers and inseminate her, but one of the other surviving fucking thief comes in and fucking, attacks. She gets the turkey baster and shoves it down his throat and squeezes it. So he gets a nice taste of his own cum. And they try to escape. There's like a little fight scene, and one of them gets, he picks up the gun and one of them shoots. So the male surviving thief dies. The girl was the only one left. But she escapes. She actually manages to escape. There's an ending like scene where it reveals that the blind man is alive, and he killed the two guys, but he says it's in self-defense, and he doesn't mention the fact that there was a third thief. He doesn't mention anything. That thief leaves the city, but there's it's obviously set up for a sequel. Like maybe he's gonna hunt her down or something.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good movie when I saw it. It's still a good. I haven't seen it in a while. I didn't rewatch it for the second one because I still have a good idea of it in my head. But it's it's like a decent 6. It's fine.
Yeah.
Don't Breathe 2. So I suppose the main thing when I realised that this was going to be a bad movie was when I discovered that the surviving thief from the first one wasn't going to be in it. The only returning character was the blind man. Now at first I thought, oh fuck, are they going to make him like, what is he, a Jason? Or is he just going to fucking, it's just going to be like, just people keep breaking into his house and he just keep picking them off one by one, different house each time, like what's going on? But then, so I saw one trailer that seemed to focus on him. And I wasn't sure, but it seemed to indicate that he was going to be the main character. Now he is the main character. And when that came out, I thought that's interesting, that made me kind of, I was like, I'll give it a watch when I can. But I saw a lot of people on Twitter. This raised controversy because people were like, you shouldn't be rooting for this character. You know, this is a disgusting character. You know, he shouldn't be a good character. It's the same sort of controversy that came up with Joker when that came out. That's why I watched it, because when I started seeing that, I was like, well, now I have to watch it. Like, you know, how bad could it be? So, it's a weird one. It honestly is. So it's like 8 years after the first film. He is the main character, he's the protagonist, and he's got a new daughter. And his dog is still there, and they've been in a new house and shit. And the daughter's told that her fucking mum's dead, and they died in a fire, and in their old house and shit. Now, he keeps her in the house, he isolates her, and, you know, the obvious assumption is, you know, he did it, you know? Either he impregnated a woman, or he's just straight up kidnapped someone, you know? Now, at some point, she actually does go out, the daughter. Her name is Phoenix. She goes out with someone who is, like, friendly with the blind man. She's like a postal worker or some shit, I don't know. And, you know, she just takes her on a ride around the town, just because, you know, just to get out the house. Someone notices her, and that person seems a bit shifty. So, it's night now, you know, she's back in the house, and a group of guys walk up at the house. All of them this time have guns. Like, in the first one, there's just one gun. In this one, they all have guns, and not only that, they all have, like, you know, AK-47s, like, assault rifles, yeah. So, they break into the house, and at that point, watching it, I was like, okay, is that what they're doing? Are they actually, I was like, okay, are they going to actually be doing this where it is like a Jason thing? Like, is that what this is actually going to be like a film series of just people breaking into this guy's fucking house and constantly trying to do shit to, like, you know, and I was like, okay, that's, you know, whatever. So it starts to actually set off. And the first, I suppose it's not like a death, but the first thing that happens is that the blind man finds a guy, there's like a group of like 5, there's like 5 of them. He finds one of them, and he manages to beat him, and then off screen, like, there's a hard cut, and we see the aftermath straight after. He seems to have he seems to have superglued his lips and nostrils so that he can't breathe. And one of the other characters has to fucking poke a hole in the guy's cheek with a screwdriver so that he can breathe through it. I just thought that was like that was off screen. I was like, that's cheap. It would have been interesting to see why he did that, which hopefully we would have seen if we did see him do it. Like, whatever. But, you know, and I was like, yeah, that's a bit cheap. Eventually, they find the girl, and the girl runs into the basement, because this house also has a basement, and it has like there's like a little empty closet thing that has a lock on the inside, and she goes in there, and one of the guys follows her down. There's a hole in the ceilings that she can breathe, and in the hole he puts a hose, and he starts to fill it with water, and he's like, you gotta come out, or, you know, you're gonna drown. The guy comes down, they get into like a fight. There's like a gas canister in the thing that gets shot, and it starts spurting out gas, and the blind man's smart, and he waits until the guy's in front of it, and he throws something onto the ground that causes a spark and hides behind a table, and the guy's like fucking burned alive. It's just, yeah. And so they escape into a greenhouse. The big group of guys come to fucking get them, and one of the guys finally, like, you know, they finally start getting a bit vocal, and he's like, you know, you don't need to be afraid, little girl, you know, talking to the daughter. He's like, you don't need to be afraid, little girl. It's not us you need to be afraid of, it's the guy standing next to you. You know, I don't know, we don't know who this guy is, but I can tell you who he isn't. And then he goes, do you want me to tell her, or do you want to? And the blind man fucking screams and lunges at him, and they fucking knock him out, because there's now 4 of them. And yeah, and it turns out that this guy, because the little girl has a grey streak in her hair, and the guy takes off this beanie he's been wearing, and he has a grey streak. And it turns out that he's her dad. And at that point I was like, oh, okay, you know, that seems fair enough, that seems interesting, you know. So yeah, it turns out that the fire was real. And like, you know, he was probably in hospital or something, but yeah, she was kidnapped. You know, he took her at like, you know, as a toddler and raised her and shit. So he takes his daughter while those guys are getting ready to kill the blind man. He's taking the daughter, but the blind man wakes up and, you know, tries to finish them off. He ends up stealing one of their dogs, which is important. There's a reason I've said that. But he takes the daughter, you know, her dad takes the daughter to a like Grammy hotel and starts explaining shit. He's like, your real name is Tower. Your mum is alive. And the mum comes in, and the mum's in a wheelchair, and, you know, and actually, no, that's not how she's introduced. She's introduced in a really weird way, where she's, like, singing, and it's supposed to be, like, really creepy. By the way, this is also a horror movie, but it isn't. As a horror movie, this fails in every single regard, but I'll get more into it. But she's like, yeah, your real name's Tower, this is your mum, she's terminally ill. And we discover that the house fire was because they were fucking meth cooks. And the explosion, like, is fucking killing the mum. Like, it's like poisoned her fucking organs and shit.
Okay.
So the mum gives the daughter a drink, and the daughter drinks it, and the mum's like, I need something from you, my love. I need an organ transplant. And the doctor was very specific. He said it needed to be a perfect match, like a direct relative, because mummy needs a new heart. So the daughter starts to fucking, you know, go to sleep, and she blacks out. When she wakes up, she's attached to a table where some grummy doctor, or he's probably not, he's probably like a vet. It'd make sense if he was like a vet, actually. And she's on a table, and the mum's on a table next to her, and the dad's like, why is she awake? What's happening? And he explains that because they're not in a fucking hospital. He actually asked why isn't she dead yet? Which I thought was weird. But he's like, yeah, we're not in a hospital. If we kill her now, we have nothing to keep the heart on ice. So it would just die along with her. And 2, we have no drugs, so she needs to be awake. we can't knock her out.
Oh my god.
And they've got some makeshift equipment, like, you know, a heart monitor and shit, but yeah, so they're getting ready to do this. The blind man, however, he has tamed the dog, like in Minecraft. He is fucking, yeah, he the dog's his now, you know, the dog is bonded with him, and he tells the dog to, you know, go home, boy, go home, leave me home. And he follows the dog to their fucking, you know, their little base. So he goes in, and he cuts the power, which means they can't do the surgery yet, and he starts picking them off. And it ends up, so, I think they're in a hotel that has a pool.
Wait a second, and he does all of this while blind?
Yeah, he's completely blind. He's like Daredevil. Except he doesn't have, unlike Daredevil, who actually has, like, superpowers, you know, in canon. This guy doesn't have superpowers, he's just a man. Yeah, he's just a man, but he was like, he's ex-military.
Okay.
But yeah, he is otherwise just a man who is blind who can do all this. Yeah. So yeah, he picks them all off one by one, and the end scene is in a place with a pool. So I guess this hotel has a pool. It might not be a hotel. It could be like a school, maybe. I honestly don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's just a big building. That's all it is. It's just a big building.
Just a big old building.
But yeah, and eventually it's just them. You know, the parents, the daughter, and the blind man. The dad gets into a fight with the blind man. He does something smart because, you know, when they go in, it's night. But he's been in there for a while. And he shoots one of the blinds on the windows because it's, like, covered up by cardboard or something, or glass. And it turns out it's sunlight, so he lets the light in. So now he can see the blind man. But the blind man shoots a fucking fire extinguisher or something, and there's a big puff of smoke, and they both got guns at this point, and fucking, you know, he's trying to shoot and kill the blind man, the dad, and he's just shooting through the smoke, and then the smoke dissipates, and oh no, he shot and killed the mum. He shot the mum.
Lol.
And the mum, so the pool's empty and it's like a deep end, and she's handcuffed herself to the door, and she's in an electric wheelchair, and as she slumps, the wheelchair starts going over the end, and it's really dumb, and then she's like hanging over the end, and it's like, no tension. And fucking, yeah, and they get into a fight, and it seems like, you know, the blind man's about to die, but obviously he prevails. And then he tells the dad, because this is a line from the first movie, and in the first movie the context of it is that he's just shutting off the lights, and they're in the basement, so it's going to be pitch fucking black, and the line is I'm gonna make you see what I see, something like that. In the first movie, you know, contextually, yeah, I guess that works. In this one though, I take it a step further. He tells the man, you're gonna see what I see, and then he sticks both of his thumbs into his eyeballs and squishes them. There's literal like jelly coming out of his eye holes.
Oh.
He completely demolishes this guy's eyeballs into soup. Yeah, I mean, that's more like it. That's more accurate to the line. You know, that's completely blind. That's worse than what you see. Like, you've still got eyes. They just don't work. This guy hasn't got eyes anymore. But it seems like the guy's dead. God. And yeah, the old man is like, fucking, he's almost dead. He's been like stabbed and shit. And the daughter tries to help him, but the old man's like, no, you need to go. And no, because here's the thing. So this is a line that a lot of people have latched onto, because he goes, I'm a murderer. No, he goes, I'm a bad man. I've murdered. I've raped. I've done terrible things. And a lot of people have pointed to that, being like, there you go, that's why he shouldn't be the hero of this story. And I will talk about it a bit more in a sec, but let me finish the movie. So, yeah, he appears to die. And she leaves, and she heads to, like, a fucking shelter, and, you know, she moves on. Then there's a little mid-credit scene of that fucking dog coming back and licking his fingers, and they fucking move. So the blind man's still alive. Who knows? There'll probably be a third one where, again, some poor souls break into his house to do something.
God fucking damn it.
But man, this movie, first of all, it completely fails as a horror. It's not a horror movie. It's an action movie. This feels more like Taken than a horror movie. Like, truly. And like the first one, I said I wasn't sure whether it would be a horror or a thriller, the first one. But this one, it's neither. There's no tension, there's no scares. It's just a straight out action. Like, there's no horror scenes, it's fight scenes. And any of the horror they attempt is just ridiculous. You know, or just flat out dumb. Like, don't get me wrong, the fucking gouging of the eyes, yeah, I mean, you could see that in a horror film, but the context of it still feels more like an action. Like, I could see Liam Neeson doing that for his daughter. You know, that's how he feels. It genuinely feels like Liam Neeson could have played this role. It feels like a Taken movie. And it's so...
And it was supposed to be a horror.
It's supposed to be a horror. It's supposed to be a horror. And yeah, and as for him being the protagonist and you shouldn't support him, you don't. You don't support him. He's just the lesser of two evils. He admits in the film, like, don't get me wrong, I've given this a 3 out of 10. I don't think this is a good movie by any means, but I'm going to quickly defend it from criticism here. You can make a movie about terrible people. Terrible people can be your antagonist. There's Joker. Fucking Walter White is a terrible human being, but Breaking Bad is amazing. Dexter is a serial killer, but he had 4 seasons of a great show. Like, a terrible person can be your protagonist. And the idea that that's not allowed, whether or not he's a murderer, whether or not he's a rapist, the idea that you shouldn't support him. Especially in this case, you're not supporting him, he's just the lesser of two evils. Their parents are trying to kill her and give her heart to her fucking meth-cooking, drug addict mum. Like, he's the lesser of two evils here, and whether you like it or not, worse. He is trying to save the little girl. He is the protagonist of the story. He is our main character. And the movie isn't very good, but that is the least of its problems. That is not what any of the controversy should be about. There shouldn't be any controversy. There shouldn't be any controversy about horror movies anyway, you know? I think it's dumb. Like, fucking Joker. Really? Joker's a problem. If someone goes out and slaughters a bunch of people, it's Joker's fault. It's not as if, I don't know, there's been hundreds of school shootings before the movie Joker came out.
Yeah.
You know? It's not as if that's the main cause of concern, is it, America? I'm blaming America mainly there because they're the kind of the ones who have this problem more.
It is mainly America. You know, it is mainly America. It is.
And I don't want to...
I don't think there's been a single school shooting in the UK since like a really fucking long time ago.
And yeah, and it was, I would say the controversy was more for Joker because they knew it'd be bigger. This isn't a big film by any means, but I don't know. I think it was a dumb controversy. But make no mistake, this was a shit film in my opinion. And yeah, 3 out of 10 is what I gave it. I mean, we could watch it one day still. I'd watch it again. It was fun.
Well, hey, this sounds like one of the ones that we'd watch while either drinking or smoking or doing something.
We could do a commentary track to it.
Yeah, we could do a commentary track to it, to be fair. But I think I'd be rather more inclined to watch Tusk and do a commentary track because you've said that that's not as bad.
Oh, I see. Would you really be willing to do it?
No, I would be willing to do it. It depends what other stuff.
Oh, come on. We said in the very first episode we'd do a Tusk commentary track. And
we will one day.
We will.
I'm just not saying when. I'm just not saying when we're going to do it.
Well, it'll be our 100th episode.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree to that.
Actually, no, I don't agree to that. That's going to be like 3 years. I don't agree to that.
It's going to be
2 years.
Actually, wait. It'll be 2
years. I don't
agree
to it.
50th episode?
25th.
No, 50th.
30th.
50th.
30th.
The 50th is 1 year away. That's just less than a year away.
Come on. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of, mate? It's a year. Why would you want to wait a year?
Hey, I ain't afraid of nothing. I just want to make sure that, because there's always just better things I'd rather do than that. That's the problem. Whenever it comes to doing it, they're most of the time. Okay, fine. We'll do it.
But you got to remember, it's a commentary track. It's for something. We're not just watching it.
No. But we'll do it when the time comes. So when there is a time, when there's nothing else that I'd rather do, then fine, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it when I actually want to do it. But if it's between that or doing a commentary track on, for example, Iron Man, when we did a commentary track on that, I'd pick Iron Man over that. Or if we're going to be doing something else, this, that, or the other, then
can I suggest something then?
Okay.
What if we do it for Halloween?
Oh, okay, yeah, I do it for Halloween.
Horror, we could do it. It's a horror movie.
Yeah, I'll do it for Halloween. You better hope nothing better comes out.
Well, I mean...
for Halloween.
Well, what do you mean comes out?
I don't know. Oh. Like a Halloween type movie.
Well, I mean, there will be a Halloween movie. There's the new Halloween movie. Halloween with Michael Myers.
There's another one.
Yeah, Halloween Kills.
Oh. We're not going to watch that on Halloween?
I mean, we won't be able to do a commentary track. It's going to be in cinemas.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I think we should do Tusk.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, fine. We'll do Tusk. Mark it on your calendar, guys. We're going to be watching and doing commentary track on Tusk.
And wow, you wanted to do 50 days and I got it down to a month, so...
Yeah.
So he's...
Yeah, you're lucky. There you go.
Alright, I think that's the end.
50 weeks reduced to just 4.
Yeah, I'm a god.
Yeah.
I think that's it then. Would you agree?
Yeah, we've discussed many different topics. It's been a good podcast coming back from the holiday. Speaking of which, since I've come back from the holiday, I'm tired.
Yeah, one of us is clearly sleepy. You're a sleepy little boy.
I do apologise for such, but as always, it's been an excellent podcast.
Yes, thank you for listening. You're going to get 2 this week. Yeah, this will hopefully be uploaded on a Monday, and even if it isn't, you'll still get another one on Friday, where we will discuss the season finale of Rick and Morty.
Oh, hell
and episode 5 of What If, and other things.
Oh, hell yeah. And it'll be good. And I'll probably come around for that one.
Yeah, that'll be another in-person one, hopefully. Because I've missed you.
Yeah, it's been a while now. So yeah, we'll definitely do that one in person.
Thank you for listening, guys. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Catch you next time.